Johnny Sharp? Who? Johnny Sharp? Why don't you make yourself known? Mighty pretty, Johnny. Oh, you played good, boy. John, hadn't we ought to talk a little business now, though? You ought to get out of the sun, mister. Get your brains addled that way.
I'll risk it.
Like a little coffee?
No, thanks. You doing some hunting?
Gun went off accidentally.
5 times, accidentally? A pistol shot ahead of it. Whose accident was that? You got somebody holed up in there?
Somebody.
Personal, is it?
No, not exactly. Gunman named Johnny Sharp. I seen him right in here, fell off his horse, crawled in there on his hands and knees. He's probably dying right now. I've been trying to talk him out of in there. Figure he might need a little help.
So, why don't you give it to him?
Something for something, mister. But that ain't my own flesh in there. I ain't beholden. Figure if Johnny Sharp wants a bullet pulled out of him or a hole plugged up, well, that's a service rendered. I do that for pay.
And the price?
Well, I ain't unreasonable, mister. You see, I let the customer put the price tag on his own carcass. Let him figure out what it's worth. In case of Johnny Sharp in there, I ain't been able to talk business with him yet. He's a lean, tough cowboy, awful hard to kill off. He's hard-nosed now because he don't believe in dying. But I got a nose for things like that. Just like them up there.
Vulture's instinct, huh? With a little touch of the hyena to round out the image. Anybody ever tell you that you were a prince of a guy?
Mister in there, we got us a hurt animal in a trap. When the animal dies, why, you don't hold no funeral for him. You just skin off the pelt. That's what I've been waiting to do for a day and a night. All I got out of Johnny Sharp so far is just a little guitar music and a spit in the eye. But it ain't gonna be long now.
Mr. Sharp, my name's Colton, William Colton. If you heard, I'd like to help you. I heard your guitar strings, and I heard the hammer on your gun. I'd count it a favor if the next thing I heard was a word or two as to whether or not you wanted some help. For free.
You wasting your time, mister. He's loony. He'd rather get eat up by the buzzards than take somebody's hand.
Your hand, maybe. Because it's 5 claws.
Mr. Fat I am, and there's nobody gonna build no statue to me. But there's just so much that I can take from a passing stranger, and then I gotta give back.
Yeah, fat you are. That we can check off quite properly. If you want to cut pelts, mister, you find yourself a dead animal.
You just walk right on in there, mister. You just walk right on in with your head high.
If I start walking toward you now, what'll I get for my troubles?
You just walk on in, mister.
Mr. Sharp? I don't know if you can see me or not, but my hand is a good distance from my gun.
I see you. What about Pearson? How many feet behind you is he?
He's outside with the vultures. That's the thing with carrion. They generally pick the same nests.
Oh, but you're not that kind, I mean, you'll give an inch or two, won't you, without holding your hand out?
I'll give an inch or two if I'm allowed.
That'll be far enough, Mr. Coleman. Right where you are. Now, if there's to be talk, this distance ought to do it. Close enough for you to see me, and close enough for me to kill you, if that's what's called for.
You got a bullet inside you? Broken leg, maybe? Fat man Pearson out there says that you fell off your horse.
Got the hungers, yeah. He figures I got cash holed up someplace. Wants it bad. A fat man with an itch. Fat man with an itch. Fat man with an itch. Fat man with the hunger. He can walk it like a cat if he thinks there'll be a saucer at the other end. When I finally buy it, Mr. Colton, you're gonna see that fat man wail like a coyote at a full moon. Because I'm not gonna tell him anything about what I got holed up. Or where it's holed up. Or if it's holed up. That information I got inside my bones. And that goes where the body goes. Which is right here. Hey, you want to hear some music, Mr. Golden?
Wouldn't mind a little music. I'd like to ask you a question first, though.
Oh, well, ask away.
Anybody ordained why you have to leave the earth this afternoon? Or tonight, or sometime soon? Bullet can always get cut out. Broken bone could take a splint. Tell me, young Mr. Sharp, what's the rush?
I never could remember that part. I always get to this one certain thing, and I just can't remember the rest of it. I didn't say I was in a rush. It's just that I have been around some, and I know all the symptoms. I know when it's time to stop wishing and start praying. And since I don't know any prayers, I just figured I'd go the best way I know how. Fact is, Mr. Colton, I'm beyond any kind of help now. Now, Pearson out there, he knows that. But what he don't know is that I'm gonna kick my foot through this guitar. And I'm gonna break this gun on that wall. And all that'll be left of him will be a cheap suit of clothes that don't fit him. 11 o'clock and all is well, Pearson. The man still breathes and the heart still beats. But if boredom gives you any discomfort, I'd love you to walk in here. I guarantee you won't be bored.
Oh, no, I'm a patient man, Johnny Sharp. Real patient. I don't get bored easy.
Well, now he won't have to be patient much longer. And you won't have to be so charitable. Be on your way, Mr. Coleman. I'm getting less and less sociable as the hours go by and the sun gets higher.
As the hours go by and the sun gets higher, your friend out there is getting less and less patient. 1 minute after I ride out of sight, he'll be swooping down from his perch. You're running out of muscle, Johnny Sharp. If you don't take to a doctor, at least accept somebody else's right arm, huh?
Be on your way, Mr. Coleman. Just one question. Is it getting darker in here? The sun go behind a cloud or something?
The sun's heading for high noon, Johnny. It's brighter than it ever was.
Oh, that's funny. I could have sworn it was getting to be night.
Hey, Golden! Hey! Golden, I got a fire out here. Hey, Golden! Hey, you hear me? Listen, I got a fire.
Johnny, the sun is almost down. Pearson's got
I
a fire.
I told you it was getting darker. And I told you you should have left.
I recall. Pearson's got a campfire outside. Want to go out there and get warmed, huh?
I'm not cold. At least I'm not cooler than I was. I got a kind of a funny feeling. It's like somebody was covering me up with a blanket. And my fingers are all kind of tingling. And I'm feeling kind of sleepy. Hey, is this what scares people so much? I'm not scared at all. I did quite a bit of talking today, haven't I, Mr. Cole? Story of my life, and that's some life, wasn't it?
Some life. And it's not through yet.
Tell me something, Mr. Cole. Here you sit on a cold rock floor, just listening to a stranger. Santa Fe, is that what you heard? What makes a man chop a day out of his life and just give it away for free to just any punk unlucky enough to have to pick that day for dying?
Santa Fe will be there tomorrow, the next day. And you're not just any punk, Johnny. Among other things, you play a good guitar. You tell a pretty fair story.
Did you hear any of the ones I told you?
I heard him.
I was 14 years old when I killed my first man. Did I tell you that?
You told me.
And the rest of them? 12 or 13 by my count. I filled up some graves of my time, Mr. Copeland. I really have. Hey, you suppose that they're up there waiting for me? Hmm? I mean, you think you'll be a clerk of some kind that keeps the records? Put something on a bulletin board. To whom it may concern. John J. Sharp will be with us tonight. All those with a debt to pay back. Be at the front gate when he rides in.
Why don't you bring the lad out? Let him lie down by the fire.
I would if he'd let me. Wants to stay in there.
You sure do roll over, Colton. Why, that kid ain't got strength enough to cock the hammer on his gun, let alone squeeze off a shot. Shoot, you could drag him right out here by the hair of his head, and he couldn't do nothing about it.
He wanted to stay in there. I'll stay with him as long as he wants me to. The cold notwithstanding. With that artillery that you fondle.
You know something, Colton? This here is an awful waste of time for the both of us. So why can't we come to some kind of agreement?
What's the agreement?
Well, you've been listening to that kid all day long, and I know that he's got a couple of banks to his credit and at least 2 stages, and someplace he's got to have a lot of money stashed away. Now, I just don't see how that kid can talk to you all day long without him giving you some sort of clue as to where it is. Well, why don't you just tell me what he told you, and we can split.
We might as well have it out now. When that boy dies, I'm taking him into town with me. I don't know about the dirt in his hands and face, but I'm delivering him just the way I found him.
Colton! Colton! I'm here, Johnny.
Don't let him touch her. Don't let him touch any part of me. I can't die dirty. That's all that's left.
Dead, is he?
Beyond you now.
Very game now. Very game, Colton.
You're pointing a rifle too low, but don't move it. Because in the 1 second it takes for you to raise it, I'll put a bullet between your eyes. That's good thinking.
Well, didn't he have nothing on him? What, like a couple of bills? A ring? Or nothing? He must have had something. He just must have.
He had 25 years. He talked about them at great length and in some detail. That's right. Cry, Pearson, cry. Somebody ought to give up some tears tonight.
Straight in bombing at the deluxe funeral service. He was just dropping him off.
In the back?
For the time being. Agis so social, il arrive. Or something like that.
You know him?
Know him. Johnny Sharp. John J. Sharp. 25 years of age. Height 5'9", weight 174 pounds. Small half-moon scar in his right cheek. Beardless, blue eye. About an hour away from rigor mortis. Died about 3 hours ago, didn't he?
Just about. Found him up by an old salt mine.
Still alive? Just expiring, or like this?
We had a talk, Mr. Sharp and I.
Well, that must have been an enlightening conversation. Well, that was like him. He was a planner. Johnny Sharp never wasted one moment of his life. He was a precise scientist, mathematician in the art of preparing for life's eventualities. Well, you've done your job, mister. You can ride into town and get drunk. Or something. I'll prepare the mortal remains of Mr. Sharp for consignment into Mother Earth. Oh, there are a few people who should hear about this. When you go into town, you might mention that the young lad is passed on.
To the following people. Paul Philby, Harry Beneke, Peggy Woodward. Yeah. Mr. Sharp and I had quite a chat. These are the people that he wanted notified. Them and you. He told me to have the four of you here in your parlor.
Really? Why?
A planner. That's what you call him, isn't it? Well, he told me to tell you, Doc, that at 11 o'clock tonight from that slab in there, he'd pay back the one who killed him. Well?
Well, if Johnny Sharp says that he's coming back from the dead, we better see that the lamps are lit to light his way. Would you ride on into town now and collect these three people? They'll come. They've all been waiting for this. Good evening, Mr. Colton, isn't it? Come in, come in. Well, I believe you met these gentlemen and the lady. Since I'm proprietor of this house of death, I suppose it's proper that I play host, don't you? Mr. Colton, aside from making yourself available for gratuitous deathbed comments, what do you do?
Oh, a little bit of everything, Doctor. Just prior to the deathbed comment, I was on my way to Santa Fe. Then I met up with Johnny Sharp.
Did he tell you about himself?
Some.
Did he tell you that he was a thief and a gunman and a killer?
He made that pretty clear, along with a brief sketch of the four people that he wanted to mourn for him. You raised him, didn't you, Doctor?
No, I didn't raise him. I fed him, clothed him intermittently. Had no parents. Down through the years, took 3 bullets out of his hide, sutured up a knife cut in his cheek, opened that door for him more than a dozen times, let him in here when he was running away from the law or another gunman, or his enemies, who were legion and myriad. He was a violent young man. As to the other citizenry that he invited here this evening, the following might be said. Mr. Beneke here, when the good Lord passed out consciences, souls, hearts, call them what you will, Mr. Beneke was stalking an angel with an idea to robbery, mayhem, or murder, so he missed out. He arrived on this earth an empty vessel, completely devoid of any human feelings whatsoever. He was Johnny Sharp's friend.
Which brings us to his other friend, huh? That would be Mr. Philby.
Oh, Mr. Philby. Mr. Philby invented cowardice. There is a species of human being who will sell out their own mother. It would not be difficult to extract that promise from Mr. Philby. However, it's questionable that he could deliver. Now, that may be his singular claim to honor. Which brings us to the third mourner, Miss Peggy Woodward. A damsel fair of face and form. She was born with a heart and a spine. She's generally quite whole. The parenthetic aside, however, her capacity for love is limited to currency and expensive baubles. Her courage is a matter of record only when she's finding and coveting these rather expensive accoutrements. In short, she's a grasping lady. She has perpetual hungers. And she's dedicated to the rich life and the high sections of the hog.
Oh, the cultured voice of the contented man. No hungers from you, huh, Doc? Sticking syringes of preservatives into some uncomplaining carcasses who are beyond the point of caring just what company they keep. And you, you presume to judge.
She's right. You have no right to judge anybody, Doc, especially Johnny Sharp. You hated him. You always hated him.
Well, here we are, Mr. Colton, the mourners four. Now that you've heard our deficiencies as human beings, do you have any comment?
I have a question. Why, in the name of anything holy or unholy, would young Mr. Sharp want to waste even a fraction of his eternity to rise up at 11 and see any single one of you?
Quite awake, isn't it, Mr. Colton?
Very sentimental, Doc, very sentimental. I'm deeply moved by the whole thing. But ignore me, please. I'm here simply to represent the estate of Johnny Sharp.
The estate, I told you.
Makes your mouth water, doesn't it, Miss Woodward? Visions of cash flit through that beautiful blonde head of yours.
I wouldn't laugh if I were you, Mr. Beneke. A couple of the dirtier pages of Mr. Sharp's book. You authored. In fact, every dirty trick he learned came from you. Why, the first dollar that he stole, you sent him out for. That's what Johnny Sharp told me.
I taught him his trade. That's what he wanted.
Trade? When you started teaching him, his trade was being 12 years old. You gave him lessons in killing before he knew anything about living. What makes you think that John Sharp owes you anything, Mr. Beneke?
I'll take my due. Johnny Sharp wanted the four of us here. All right, we're here. Whatever gets divvied up, I'll take my fourth.
Well, I don't know how you rate anything.
You'll just have to live with that question, Philby. And I'll have to live with the question as to how you got him. In the back, I'm sure, but how did you get close enough?
You go to the devil, Beneke. I didn't kill Johnny, do you hear? I never killed him. If anybody killed Johnny, it had to be you, because you're the gunman around here. You're the killer.
Get up, Philby. Let's have a little dignity here. 2 deaths tonight, Doc. Johnny Sharp's and, Mr. Philby's manhood. Check with your beloved Peggy, my dear. Use his style. Never to the face, wait till the back is turned.
I didn't kill him. I swear I didn't.
Did you? Did you shoot Johnny?
Me? My dear, a worthy adversary for me would be a rabbit. As I'm sure Mr. Colton could tell you from what he's seen and heard this evening, and from what Johnny Sharp must have told him about me.
Hardening of the arteries and softening of the nerves. That's the way Johnny described you.
Indeed. Well, I entered that rather advanced stage of senility 20 years ago. Isn't it a pity I couldn't conjure up the courage to get out of this place? This miserable place that spawns such miserable people. If Johnny could have gotten out, he would have had a chance. Well, here we are. We're waiting for the reckoning, aren't we? For Johnny Sharp to pay us back in death what we took from him in life.
11 o'clock. That's when we open the books.
As per instruction.
As per Johnny Sharp's instructions.
Well, I'll say this for Johnny. He picked a proper night for it. Oh, can't you feel it in the room, friend? The greed, the hunger. Oh. Itchy and sweaty palms could make a noise. You'd hear a roll of thunder that'd blast your eardrums. I can read your mind, Mr. Beneke. I can hear what you're thinking. Let it be me, Johnny. Let it be me. While you take your final, sour, raspy, death-covered breath, let me take the coins off your eyes for services rendered, for turning you into my dirty image. Give it back, Johnny. Pay me back. That's what you're thinking, isn't it, Mr. Beneke? That's what you hope for. For love. For love, Johnny. For love. Leave me something. There wasn't enough when you were alive. There was never enough, Johnny. Anything, whatever it is. Whatever you got sewn in your seams, Johnny. Whatever you've scraped up and bled out through 25 years of hectic, frantic life, Johnny. Leave me something. Unfortunately, this is the only litany Miss Woodward can come up with for the occasion, the only one. Oh, and do I hear a mournful dirge from Mr. Philby? Johnny, Johnny with the knowing blue eyes who always looked past me, through me, and around me, but never saw me. Oh, leave me some residue now, Johnny. Gold or silver, a pair of old shoes, anything poor and paltry, but leave me something that's left over from what I didn't steal from you while you were alive. Oh, we're a mangy crew. We don't mourn, we covet. This isn't a wake. It's a grave robbing.
Why don't you stop judging everybody, old man? And why don't you take a look in the mirror? Take a look at what we see. Take a look at what Johnny Sharp saw. Roomy eyes and a dirty shirt. And an illusion that you sit on the right side of God. Oh, somewhere along the line he picked up a dictionary and a set of Shakespeare. But you could never find the language to tell Johnny Sharp that he was loved or that he was needed. Or that sometime in his short and lonely life there might be one man who could be his father. Now look, you want to talk about guilt, then you better spread it around. Because every time you opened that door for Johnny Sharp, every time you cut out his bullets, You took pieces out of him that didn't grow back. You gave him no love. You gave him no love at all. You think that you're the only one that's ever read a book? You think that you're the only one who's ever been to school? I started out that way, too. With a family and a decent way. We used to eat on tablecloths and go to church. And I want it that way again. Just like you. And Johnny Sharp living or Johnny Sharp dead, if he can help me get out of this place, I can spit out as much pride as you can.
Peg, you and me. You and me.
Oh, baby boy, baby boy. In your finest moment, you could never stand tall enough to see Johnny Sharp, let alone look eye level at him. Oh, yes. You mark that, Doctor, as one of the other small truths to accompany Johnny to his grave.
And for Miss Woodward's next number, she will sing She's More to Be Pitied Than Censured, followed by some more dramatic readings. Look, it's almost 11 o'clock. Let's have it. I don't care if it's a lot, something or nothing, but let's hear what it is, huh? You need glasses. This isn't Philby. Nobody walks out on me. When I ask a question, I want an answer.
Philby, Beneke, or any other man over the age of 16, they don't order me. They don't put their hands on me.
Tell me about it, Mr. Colton. Tell me about you. I don't even know what your trade is or your style. But shooting a man in the back cover either of them.
Neither of them. I don't shoot men in the back.
Well, yes, everybody just got carried away by the evening's entertainment. Dead or alive, Johnny Sharp was nothing more than a high-pocketed little gunman. He was no better than anybody else. Put on his pants one leg at a time. And you know something, Fritchman? He got the kind of death he dished out.
Well, I guess the eulogy is complete now, Mr. Colton. What had to be said has been duly said.
Well, Johnny Sharp, rise and shine, haunt or accuse her. do something.
He already has. He already has. He's picked out his murderers. You, Miss Woodward, you, Mr. Philby, you, Mr. Beneke, and you, Doc. You all had a hand in it.
Indeed we did.
Well, I don't understand.
Don't you? In his last 30 minutes, Johnny Sharp told me the story of his life. Told me about the 4 people that he believed in, 4 people he loved. What they did to him in the name of love. He told it all to me. To me because, well, there was no priest, there were no friends. And there was no time left for him. A legacy of Johnny Sharp. $4 silver, one for each of you.
Whoever done him in took the rest of it.
How right you are. They took the rest of it.
In the back, they got him in the back. They shot him in the back.
No. No, nobody shot Johnny in the back. You know what it was, Doc.
I've known for over a year. He had consumption. None of you noticed it. How quiet he was. How much in pain.
Well, Johnny boy, not much to leave your old pal, your old teacher. I'd kind of hoped it'd be more so I could get out of here. So for the first time, I could ride out in the daylight instead of hiding out here for the rest of my life.
It isn't fair. It isn't fair at all. Well, are you satisfied with him now? How far are you gonna go on 1 silver buck? How far?
Not far enough. I want to thank you, Mr. Colton, for delivering your message. And I'm going to keep this as a memento. Because I know now there should have been 30 of them.
Peg. Peg, can I go with you?
Oh. Why not? You can stand over me the whole night long while I cry.
Anything else, Doc? I'll be on my way.
Mr. Golden? Miss Golden, I had a wife and a child. They died of the fever. And I let grief turn to bile. So when Johnny Sharp held out his hands to me as a young boy, the only thing I could think of was my loss, my own son. He held out his hands to me out of need. A desperate need, and I denied him. I denied him out of misery, longing. I denied him out of a filthy, self-seeking acid of an aging man going to sea. And I never told him the one big truth. That
He was lost. Not that this matters now, but I just wanted to tell you that as of this moment, sir, this is a wake. Now he'll get mourned.
It matters, Doc. It matters. Because it's about time.